Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is O-Sheena. I'm so glad that you're here and I am happy to be here. It feels like it's been forever since I've filmed any kind of video, but in particular a wrap up. I'm so excited to share about all of the books that I read in September. It's been a good couple weeks. I've been very busy, as you know. I always say that, but yeah, I do still work a full-time job, but I also try to give full-time content, and sometimes one of them has to give and the full-time job cannot give, you know? So if you're ever curious, where is Oceana? Why is she not posting? Check all my other places. So I do post in the community tab here on YouTube sometimes, and I will give updates on what's going on. And then I do have an Instagram and a TikTok. So if you want to follow me on those places, I also use Goodreads and you'll see more real-time updates on what I'm reading there. So you're welcome to follow me on all of those places. They're always linked down below. So yeah, if you want to interact in more than just my YouTube channel. But I do love YouTube. It's my first love. It's what I'll always come back to, and I really love making videos. So I'm excited to share all of the books that I read in September with you guys. I did get a new mug this month. It is pink. It has pumpkins on it and bows and little like ribbons, I guess, and it's perfect. It's such a nice size, and I got it from Winners. So this is my fall mug purchase of the year, and I'm excited to drink out of it while I talk about all these books. I only have one book to hold up because I think all of these books, yeah, all of them are from the library. So I basically read primarily from the library. I have been like away a lot, so when I'm away, I just use my Libby app pretty much. That is what I did in September because I was away a lot in September. I'm excited to get back to my physical TBR. Oh yeah, I posted a small October TBR in shorts and it actually did really well. You guys obviously watched it because it has a lot of views, so thank you. It's only 40 seconds long. So if you want to see 3 Christian fiction books on my October TBR, you can watch that short. Let's get into this video. I'm just really excited to be here. I'm excited to chat with you guys. So get a cup of what you love to drink and let's talk about these books. I think I'll do it by genre. So I'm gonna do all of the non-Christian fiction first and then I'll end with Christian fiction because I've got some great gems in there. But yeah, let's start with all of the I guess secular non-Christian fiction, whatever. So in September, I did dive into a couple of Freida McFadden books just because I needed some like popcorn thrillers, they're called, to just be entertained. So the first one is called The Coworker by Freida McFadden. And I love this cover so much because it's just so ominous. And what I love is, from what I've read so far of Freida McFadden, her covers and her premisi, I don't know, they come across very ominous and like spooky things are going to be happening. But then what it all turns out to be is actually fairly chill and just funny and entertaining. That's what I like about her books, and so that's why I continue to read them. They're also all always closed door / fade to black, so there's never any sexual content, which I appreciate so far from what I've read. I haven't read many of her books, but whatever, the ones I've read. And then there is some language, but it's not super vulgar. Like, it's just kind of a fun heart-beating story for a little bit and then you're done and it's nice. So The Coworker. I did listen to this on audiobook and then I had the physical book as well. Usually that's what I do. I'll get the physical book from the library and the audiobook and I'll read both at the same time and I enjoy doing that. So for The Coworker, it's a funny premise because basically there's this coworker that they think is dead and it's funny. It's funny because it's ridiculous and I don't mind it. So that's all I have to say. It was fine. What did I give it? 4 stars, I think? Yeah, because it was like quick, entertaining, nothing terribly wrong with it. And I enjoyed it. I'd recommend it as a thriller. So there you go. They do talk about sex in it, but you don't see any details. And then there is a little bit of language, but it's not a lot. Like I said, like it's 1 or 2, maybe even 1 F word. I don't even remember if there's any F words, but check my Goodreads review because I put more of that in there. So then I also read Never Lie by Freida McFadden, and this one was so crazy. This one had some good twists. The Coworker had twists as well, and they were good, but I feel like Never Lie, I do hear that Never Lie is like one of her better ones, or like a lot of people like it. And I can see why because of the twists. Like, I just did not see that coming. And I thought it was really like clever. For Never Lie, you follow this freshly married couple and they're looking to buy a house and they go like view one of the houses and then they get stormed in or something. They have to like stay overnight in the house. It turns out the girl knows the previous owner of the house and It's very interesting. So you do get to see like little flashbacks of who the owner was and what's going on there. And then you see this couple kind of feeling like the house is spooky and weird stuff is happening. But like none of it, it's not ghosty, which I really appreciate. Like you could think it's ghosty, but like the actual answer is it's not ghosty, which I really like. I love that style of like haunted house where yeah, it comes across spooky and you think like, oh snap, what's going on? And you think it might be supernatural, but it turns out to not be supernatural. That's what I like about thrillers. So I don't know if that's a spoiler, but there you go. Just so you know. And with Never Lie, yeah, there's like mentions of sex, but it's not, none of it's on page. And there are a few like language pieces, but nothing crazy. So yeah, I give this 4 stars as well. I enjoyed it. Okay, then I read an anticipated new release, finally. It's The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold by Ali Carter. This is the sequel companion to The Blonde Identity, and I read this, I feel like last year or maybe even the year before. I don't even remember. Maybe last year. And I just had a good time with The Blonde Identity. I wouldn't fully recommend it here just because it had a lot of language. It was very vulgar, you guys. Not like crazy, because if it was crazy vulgar, I'd be like, ew, I'm not reading this. But there was just certain times when there was language, it was like, oh, come on, why was that? But okay, just so you know. And it's fully played black, which is really, really nice. So whatever. So I was excited to get into this book because The Blonde Identity follows twins, and you only follow one side of the twin. So in The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold, you follow the other twin, and you see her story, and it was fun. Like, I do feel like the plot was slow moving and there were flashback scenes that were confusing because it was hard to follow the timeline. So it was fine, but I do think I liked The Blonde Identity better. But I was happy to read this one. It was fun. It was fast paced. And it was also like fade to black, and it was less vulgar than The Blonde Identity. So like content wise, it was milder, but it was also just like less exciting. So that's too bad, right? And also I feel like you don't have to have read The Blonde Identity to read this book. So maybe give it a try because it's less vulgar and you could see. But yeah, that's all I'll say. Okay, then I read a couple like middle grade style books. So The False Prince by Jennifer A. Neilson, I think, right? Okay. Over the years, actually, I was gonna say over the years this has been recommended to me, but maybe just over the years I've seen people hype this book. Like, people love this book. And like the reviews on it too, I'm like, wow, okay. But I give it 3 stars because I was like, this is it. Because, okay, it feels like, okay, I'm not trying to gender stereotype, but it feels like a boy book because you follow this group of boys training for stuff. And it was boring. Like, the training pieces it was so boring. Like, I don't understand. So it opens with this boy is like living his life, whatever, and then he gets abducted or like kidnapped. I don't even know. And he agrees because he's like poor or something. I think it's because he's poor. And so he just is like, sure, okay, abduct me and then take care of me. Okay. And then it turns out that the guy abducting these boys wants to train them to pretend to be the prince because there's like a missing prince. And so all these boys are trying to like pretend to be the missing prince and then come back and say, hey, what's up? So I've also heard that there's a crazy twist at the end of this book, but even just the premise of the book made me feel like, isn't it obvious what the twist will be? I don't know. But like, hey, okay, this is an older published book and maybe I've read a lot now and so like I know stuff, but normally I'm like not smart with these things. Like, I cannot predict twists at all. I don't see things coming, but like I'm slowly starting to. Like, the more you read, the more you can pick up on clues, because like the twist was like not that exciting for me. And then most of the book is following this boy training and like kind of resisting, but he's like the best option to be the prince because he looks the most like him. The guy just like really wants him to be it, but the boy like does not want to be used, and he's like, no, I'm not going to follow your ways or whatever, but he has nothing else, so he does stick around, whatever. So, but you just follow that on a day-to-day basis, and I'm just like, what else is going on here? What else? And then I just feel like the way that it ended, I was like, okay, don't care what's going on from there. I'm really sorry. Okay, I hope that I didn't just like totally you know, boohoo on your book. But hey, we have different taste. I will try more from this author though. I've heard, what's the other book? The Traitor's Game. Gonna try that book. But yeah, The False Prince, 3 stars. I guess I'd recommend it. I think there were, I don't remember if there's any language. There was a little bit of like torture. Actually, there's a lot of torture. I didn't like the torture. I really don't like bodily torture, you guys. I just don't like it. And it was like not subtle. Like there's a torture scene that I'm like, Skippy, I don't want to hear that. No. Okay. So I don't know that it'd be great for younger readers, even though I feel like this is middle grade, but maybe it's more young adult. I don't know. But there you go. I know language, I don't think, but yeah, the torture though. And then I read Stuart Little by E.B. White. That was fun. I grew up watching the movies, so Stuart Little and Stuart Little 2, loved them both. Such a cool concept. Love all the tiny things that Stuart gets to have because he's a mouse. So cute. But yeah, so I will say the movie took scenes from the book, but the book's timeline wasn't really there. Like there was the timeline, the plot, there was no like consistent plot. It was just like scenes of Stuart Little doing stuff. And it did get kind of boring, not gonna lie. I think I gave it 3 stars. What did I do? 4 stars. Okay, for nostalgia. But I mean, super chill, easy kids book. Like I think kids would like this because it's funny, because it's a mouse doing stuff, and it's a mouse that can like talk to humans and was adopted by a human family, and I think that's cute. But some of the stuff he does, I was like, this is kind of boring, but like maybe little kids would like it. Okay, nonfiction, I read Why We Sleep. Don't remember the author, but conviction, you guys. Not really, but basically sleep is so incredibly important for our health, and I already knew that, and actually a lot of the things that he talked about, I was like, oh, so that's actually true. I didn't realize. Just that, like, about the circadian rhythm and like how screen light messes up when you're sleeping, and just, yeah, the health of your body relies so much on sleep. And so I was like, dude, I need to sleep more. I need to sleep better. Okay. So that was actually really great. And the audiobook was interesting. I feel like a little bit he like pulled the concept out as far as he could possibly go so that it was longer. So I did skip some chapters because I was like, okay, I've heard like the main concept. I don't need to like listen to every single detail. So I did skip some things. It was very interesting, him talking about caffeine and like, yeah, consumption of caffeine. Interesting. And I'm glad that I read it. That's all I'll say. I feel like other people might find it interesting too. Okay, the one book that I can hold up, because I still have it, I haven't returned it to the library yet. This is the last book before Christian fiction. So I feel like this is a good segue because I was in a like romance kick for a little while in September, and that was really fun. So this was one of the books that I read. I've been meaning to read this book for a very long time. It's called The Sweetheart Fix by Miranda Liasson. Don't know. Just because the concept sounded so stinking cute, and I just had to know. And I was like hoping that it was clean. So here we go. Let me tell you, it follows Juliet. She is a licensed counselor in a small town. In the small town, she has 3 broken engagements in her past. So, and everyone knows about them. And she's kind of like known as like, why would you be like a couples counselor when you can't even like hold on to a relationship yourself? So she's sad about that, but she's kind of also the town sweetheart. Like everyone does like her, but they feel bad for her. They kind of pity her. And she works in a counseling office, I guess, and she kind of blunders a couples counseling session. And so her boss is like, you need to take a break and like figure yourself out because this is not working. And so she kind of is forced to take a leave. So that's her story. Then you follow the mayor of the small town, and his name is Jack. Okay, you follow Jack. He's the mayor, and they're the same age. They grew up in the same town. They're from the same grade. They know each other, but they never really liked each other because of reasons I don't even know. Jack is known as being kind of like emotionally detached. He's not great at I guess like the emotional side of fixing conflicts. Like he is very business minded, and he can think of good policies, and he's very passionate about running a smooth town. But when people come to him with issues, he just struggles to empathize, I guess. And a course of events happens. He ends up hiring Juliet to be a little bit of his like consultant, I guess, when it comes to people having issues in the town, because she's so good at it, because everyone knows her and trusts her, and they know that she has their best at heart. Whereas like with Jack, because he doesn't really like show much of himself, people don't fully trust him. Like he's a good mayor for the town, but not socially, I guess. So they like help each other out in that way. So that's the story. They're working together and they're getting to know each other. And I loved everything about this book. I really did, because every single scene made sense for why the characters are slowly getting to know each other. They bicker a little bit, but it was so lighthearted because she stood her ground against him, and he was like fascinated by her, because most people like back down because he's the mayor, so they don't want to disrespect him. But she was like calling him out on stuff, and I loved that part. And they had so many cute scenes together. Like the way the author made it all go was just so stinking cute. And there was no language. It was fade to black. They do have sex in it, but it's like fully fade to black. Like fully closed door, not even fade to black. Like literally they kiss and it's not even that steamy, and then they're like, okay, next morning. Like it was so refreshing. Oh, I just wish there was more like truly like closed door books like this. It was so nice. And I just really loved the progression of the plot. It was just a fun time, honestly. His grandma does get him to pray for every meal, and she is like definitely has faith, but the other characters don't, and there's no faith message, but they do pray in the book before meals. So that was cool. Like all the little side characters of the town, I love a quirky townspeople group. It's so good. So yeah, I do highly recommend this. I thought it was great. So I got it from my library. Hopefully you guys can find it. My library only has this physical book, and then the rest are ebooks. So if I'm in the mood to read an ebook, I might read more of her books, because I would love to have another like, you know, fully closed door author to add to our regimen, you know? Yay. Okay, on to the Christian fiction. Number 1. Okay, Across the Ages by Gabrielle Meyer. Cannot believe that I gave this book 5 stars. I truly love this book though. Like, truly. Okay, I'm not even making this up. I'm not sugarcoating it. This is 5 stars. Best book in the series. For me. Okay, let me explain why. I do have a whole video reading this book, right? I think so. I forget. I'll link stuff below. Check the description. But for Across the Ages, you guys, okay, what I loved about it, number 1, the main character. I really liked her. She was so solid. She knew who she was. She wasn't like wishy-washy. It was nice. But the very interesting thing was, I think this is the first time she's done this, where she didn't know why she could time cross. So she had no one in her life that could teach her about what's going on. So she's just figuring it out. And something about that, paired with her personality, worked so well. I loved it. I also actually loved both timelines, because there were interesting things happening. Clearly one timeline has the romance in it, and the other one, there's just interesting things happening, like written in an interesting way. I wouldn't even say that it's that it's interesting. Just like the way she wrote it though, it kept my interest. So yeah, in one timeline, it's the 1920s. They're talking about prohibition. She comes from a a pastor family. She's just trying to figure out, she's got brothers and she's like navigating that world. And it was just well done. I actually liked reading about that. And then in the other timeline, she is trying to find her mom. She like smuggles herself. She pretends to be a boy, right? I think, or whatever. She smuggles onto this pirate ship, and she's trying to like get passage to a certain area, and she ends up meeting this guy on the pirate ship. Okay, and it's so good. It was so interesting. I liked the faith message. Like the faith content was strong. The plot lines were interesting. Romance was great. Ending was so nice, wrapped up in a bow. Like, thank you for the nice ending. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. 5 stars. So highly recommend. I do think you should probably just start with the first book and read all the way up. I know it's a big commitment, but technically you could read this book without having read any of the other books. But I probably wouldn't recommend doing that, because I do think, because I knew the previous books, this book hit harder because it was like a refreshing change from the previous books for me. I don't know. And you know what? I'm like, you know, it's my opinion, whatever. But a lot of people do like this book, which I'm surprised, because it felt very different compared to the other ones, just because of everything I just said. And I enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm feeling hyped up, because I gave this book 5 stars, and I'm so excited, because I just didn't know if it was possible for me to give a book in the Timeless series 5 stars, but it is. So here we go. Now I'm excited to keep reading the series. Yay! Okay, another kind of random fun book that I read is called The Best Is Yet to Come by Macomber. I don't know why I picked this book up. I guess I don't even know why. Who even cares? Okay, next book is The Best Is Yet to Come by Macomber. This book has light faith content. I probably wouldn't actually consider it Christian fiction, but here we are. I'm talking about it now. So this was so fun. I really enjoyed it. It has an animal aspect to it. So there is a dog in it and there's like an animal shelter. So if you like that, everyone's good. Nothing bad happens to the animals. And it just adds like a nice element to it. Follow Hope and Cade. Hope and Cade both volunteer at this animal shelter, and it's very cute how they like start to get to know each other. It's definitely Grumpy Sunshine because he's like a kind of grumpy just because he is an ex-Marine and he got injured, and so he's recovering from that. And then she is trying to kind of rebuild her life. She moved back to the small town, and I kind of do love the small town storylines because they're just so fun because you can really make like sweet, quirky characters that I guess it's hard to find in a city. I don't know. So basically it's a pretty straightforward story. I just liked it. Like I gave it 4 stars because the premise is what I told you. Like the 2 of them are volunteering at this shelter. They both have issues that they're working on. They become friends and then more. And she does adopt this dog. And so you get to watch that kind of happen. And nothing about it was like too annoying. It just like worked. I don't remember if there was a 3rd act breakup or like what the conflict was. So it probably didn't bother me because it's fine. And there's no language and only kissing. Like there's no spice. It's like fully clean. So that was so nice. And yeah, I would highly recommend this. It was really great. Okay, you're gonna see this book in a reading vlog very soon. Unless you see it first. No, I don't remember. Anyways, The Rules of Falling for You by Mollie Rushmeyer. This is in a reading vlog. So if it's already up, I'll link it. If it's not up yet, you'll see it soon. But this book, I was very anticipating it because of the premise, and I did get it for free for review, so I'll be getting a physical copy eventually, but I read it as an ebook through NetGalley, and it was fun. It was very fun. So I'm going to tell you what it's about. I did give it 4 stars, and I'll explain why, and I'll give a little bit more details in the reading vlog, so that's coming. So it's contemporary, but it's set in a Regency kind of Pride and Prejudice era camp, you could call it, or like retreat center. And you follow this girl who runs a podcast kind of for singles and like how to find the best Regency man, like Regency style man. She thinks like the values from the Regency era are what women should like expect for men now. And she goes to this retreat, and her podcast producer is her best friend's brother, and they're kind of childhood friends as well. And he's going to like kind of produce for her, but then also like look out for her. And their relationship was so cute because they were friends already, and he kind of thought that the whole like Regency thing was kind of dumb, but he slowly comes around to it, and she really is like able to be herself around him. She definitely puts on this persona for people, and so she just feels like she can't be fully herself with other guys, but she is going on these dates, and she's trying to like find a guy who checks all the boxes, and you really get to see her like kind of wrestle with her singleness, with God, with her identity, where her value comes from. And then she's slowly discovering that her checklist like is just, it's holding her back from seeing someone who's right in front of her, aka the best friend's brother. And it was just really sweet. I liked like so many aspects of it. The thing that kind of brought it down, and that like I was ready to give it 5 stars, but because also the faith content, it was so good. Like the whole message, it really spoke to my single heart, and I thought it was great, like honestly 5-star level. But the conflict at the end that made them break up for a little bit was so frustrating. I feel like it did a disservice to the characters and to the way the story was built. It kind of crumbled everything that the characters had learned, and I just don't see how that was like the best option to like show growth and like conflict. It was really annoying, and I'll explain more of it in the reading vlog, but for that I did drop a star because I just could not justify giving it 5 stars when it truly like kind of ruined the book for me. Like I truly hated that conflict. So it's 4 stars, but I would still recommend it. It's still a solid book, and I'll for sure be following this author, and I think if I could just pretend that never happened, then it's 5 stars, and I highly recommend. So yeah, it is what it is, but there you go. Okay, then. I read Everything's Coming Up Rosie by Courtney Walsh because this was my Patreon book club book pick. And thank you all for voting for it because I don't know when I would have gotten to this book. It's her new release from this year. And her new releases have been hit and miss with me. Like sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. This is the first 5-star book in a long time for Courtney Walsh with me. So I truly loved this book because I feel like it had the same quirkiness that like the Rules of Falling for You had, and even like all these other like contemporary romance books that I've shared, but it had faith content, it had not annoying breakups, and it had such a great message. Like all of it packaged together was actually perfect for me. I love this book. I could see how it won't be for everyone though, so let me explain. You follow this girl who is a wannabe actress, theater actress. What do you call that? She kind of has a failed theater career and she's really embarrassed by it. So she has kind of been lying to her family and her friends that like, yeah, things are going great, but they're actually not. She hasn't gotten a job in a while and she's really struggling. So she applied to a whole bunch of jobs, and the one that got back to her is actually a like theater program within a like, what would you call it, retirement community, I guess. And she didn't know that when she said yes to it and she accepted the job, she gets there and she's like, why is everyone old around here? And it's like, did you read what the description was? No, I didn't. Oh, okay. So she has to decide if she's going to do it. She decides to do it because there's a very cute and charming and swoony dude who works as like kind of the groundskeeper, everything handyman. And that's their romance. It was so cute. I have a spoiler vlog for it on my Patreon and I was giggling, you guys. So just saying. I really liked her quirkiness. It worked the way that Courtney Walsh wrote her quirkiness, and then the way people responded to it. Like it wasn't awkward. It wasn't cringy. It was funny. That's what I took away from it. Like I think some people would just say, no, it's cringy, she's dumb, like I don't like this character. I could totally see that. And normally I feel like that would have been me as well, but some kind of thing aligned where I actually really liked it. So I was totally fine with her character. I actually really liked her. And then the lines that this guy says, like these swoony lines, like how did Courtney Walsh think of these lines? It is so stinking cute and like unique. Like I feel like a bit of their like romantic dynamic was fresh for me. Like it was just, oh, it was so refreshing as a romance. And yeah, of course, no language, and it's clean, and there's great faith content. Actually, there's not really any faith content, I don't think. But either way, the message was great, like talking about your dreams and how to like kind of reformulate yourself and be confident. And it was just so well done. And all of the scenes together, like all made sense. There was a great balance of romantic scenes and then scenes of them working in the theater and then other like conflicts coming up and like side characters. Loved some of the side characters. Again, those quirky people where it's like a small setting, you're getting to know a few of the characters, and I loved it. I really loved it. So yeah, 5 stars from me. So excited about that. So I just did not see that coming. I thought I would think this is such a cringe, boring book, but no, I really, really liked it. So yeah, I really want to own this book because I would totally read it again. Just for those lines, like, come on. It was so stinking cute. So yeah, is that everything? That is everything that I read in September. Wow. And October has been good so far. I'm reading some great books lately. I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I am excited to get back on track with content. I think I'll just make a whole video for it, like resetting or something, because I've got mega plans for the rest of the year. All of my major traveling is done for work, except one more like weekend trip that I'm doing, but that shouldn't interfere with any content. But yeah, I basically had to take like just some time off from like working on like videos like this for my channel, but I am back. I'm ready to keep going and I'm so motivated. I want to share a really fun story if you're still here, and hopefully the person is watching too, but we'll see. So I was out working and I ran into this younger girl. I think she's probably 15 or something. And she came up to me and said like, are you O-Sheena? Gotta read them all. And I was like, yes, I am. Do you watch my stuff? And she's like, yes, I do. And I was like, this has never happened. It was so exciting to have like a random stranger come up to me, recognize me, and ask me like, are you O-Sheena? Gotta read them all. And it was like kind of fun. I was like, this is amazing. This is why I do what I do, because I asked her what video she found me through and how long she's been watching. And she said for a couple months this year, and she found me through my Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy reading blog. And that video does have like a fair amount of views. So I'm like, oh, interesting. Yeah, because I know that it's a popular series with teenagers in particular. And it was just so wonderful to see, because she said that she wants to read like books, but she wants them to be good for her faith. And this is a popular series, and she didn't know if it would be good for her faith. And so my video helped her discern that. And it was so beautiful. I was just like, this is why I do what I do, and I want to keep doing it. So I'm very motivated to continue exploring the secular world of books, young adult books, fantasy books that, yeah, are maybe outside of my comfort zone, or just maybe not what most of my audience is looking for. But at the same time, if I can help a girl like that, I want to do it. So I am going to keep making my content like mixed like that, where I do talk about Christian fiction, but then I also talk about the secular fiction that I read, and I'm gonna read some young adult fantasy, and I want to continue doing that because it does actually help people, and that was like so confirming for me. So that was amazing, and so that is informing the content that I'm going to work on for the rest of the year and for years to come, hopefully. So yeah, it's really interesting. There's so many ideas in my head of like what I want to do and what I could do with my content, and it's just like a matter of having the time to do it. So I have all these plans, you guys, and I'm doing the best I can to work on all of these things, but I just want to say thank you for being with me on this journey. I'm so happy to be doing this because I really have seen the hand of God in what I'm doing, and that he is like changing lives and hearts. I want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you to that girl who said hi to me, and I hope she's doing well. And yeah, I just love being here, you guys. So I'm gonna write all of the books down below that I talked about and link any videos that I mentioned as well. Again, all of my socials and everything is down below, so always check the description when you're on my videos. And again, thank you so much for being here, you guys. I had a great time sitting and chatting. It's definitely a longer video, so hello, thank you for being here. I love you all, and I'm gonna be sat here making content right now, so get ready to see some videos. I'm excited to do that. So yes, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Regimen? I don't know. It turns out that the girl knows the owner of the house.